What is actually inside Australia's most iconic food? Australians eat more meat pies per person than any other country on Earth. The average Aussie consumes over 12 meat pies every single year. At the footy, at the servo, from the freezer, we cannot get enough of them. But here is what the pie industry does not want you to know. That iconic meat pie you are eating might contain just 25% meat. The definition of meat includes fat, connective tissue, nerves, blood, and blood vessels. Before 2007, pies could legally contain snouts, ears, tongue roots, and tendons. I spent weeks researching the frozen pie aisle, comparing ingredient lists, analysing laboratory test results from Choice, and what I discovered will change how you see your beloved meat pie. Let me take you through the worst offenders. Number 1. 4 and 20 Classic Meat Pie. This is the pie synonymous with Australian football, the brand that claims to be the great Australian taste. But the ingredient list tells a different story. The first ingredient is water, not meat. Water. Then comes meat at just the minimum 25%. That meat can be beef or mutton, meaning they can switch between cheaper options depending on market prices. The pastry uses margarine made from vegetable oil or animal fat, not butter. But the real scandal is the textured soy protein listed in the ingredients. This textured soy protein is a meat extender made from defatted soy flour. It absorbs the gravy flavour and mimics the texture of meat. It costs less than 1/3 the price of real beef. Pie manufacturers use it to bulk out the filling while technically meeting the minimum meat requirements. And here is what most Australians do not know. In 2022, 4 and 20 was sold to PAG, a Hong Kong-based private equity firm, for around $550 million. The same company owns Red Rooster, Oporto, and Chicken Treat. Your iconic Aussie pie is now foreign-owned. The pie is still made in Bairnsdale, Victoria, but the profits flow overseas. After being in Australian hands for just 19 years following Paddy's Foods' purchase from American-owned Simplot in 2003, the brand is once again under foreign control. Number 2. Herbert Adams Pies. Herbert Adams markets itself as the premium alternative. The packaging shows chunky beef and promises gourmet quality. But Herbert Adams is owned by the exact same company as 4 and 20, sharing foreign ownership through PAG. In Choice's 2010 laboratory analysis, Herbert Adams' pepper steak chunky pies barely made the minimum requirement, containing just over 25% meat as required by the Food Standards Code. Just over. That means they are formulating to hit the legal minimum, not to deliver quality. Consumer reviews on Whirlpool forums describe the filling as having too much gristle and too much fat in the gravy. The pastry may look premium, but the filling tells a different story. When you pay extra for Herbert Adams thinking you are getting a superior product, you are paying for marketing and packaging, not more meat. Number 3. Balfours Meat Pies. Balfours claims to be Australia's oldest bakery, established in Adelaide in 1853. The marketing emphasises South Australian heritage and tradition. But the ingredient list reveals a different reality. Water is the first ingredient, then wheat flour, with beef at just 25%. Margarine follows, and a cocktail of additives including thickeners 1442, 415, and 407, multiple artificial colours including 150C, 110, and 102, flavour enhancers 621 and 635, which are monosodium glutamate and disodium inosinate, and preservative 211, which is sodium benzoate. Consumer reviews on Product Review Australia are brutal. Customers describe the pastry as dry and hard, and the filling as basically all gravy with no meat. One reviewer wrote that the meat pie was just gravy mush with no meat particles. Another reported finding pink filling that was not properly cooked. Multiple reviews complained that the recipe has changed dramatically, with the traditional Balfours taste now gone. Some report that Balfours no longer responds to complaints. And despite the South Australian branding, reports indicate production may have shifted to Western Australia. Balfours was acquired by San Remo Macaroni Company in 2008, so that family bakery heritage is corporate marketing. Number 4. Supermarket private label pies. Whether it is Woolworths home brand, Coles brand, or Black and Gold from IGA, supermarket pies share the same problems, magnified. Consumer reviews describe Woolworths pies as a complete disaster, with pastry that is crumbly and pathetically boring, more like a cheap biscuit than pastry. The meat filling is described as the consistency of kitty litter with odd bits of gristle. Industry insiders on Whirlpool forums say Coles and Woolworths pies are contract manufactured by companies such as Balfours, Villiers, and Mrs. Max. Contracts change constantly, and the supermarkets demand the lowest possible price, which directly impacts quality. One consumer reported a Woolworths rich and hearty slow-cooked chunky beef pie contained precisely 2 chunks of very gristly meat in an entire quarter of the pie. The rest was described as offal sludge with plenty of brown colouring. The quality is so inconsistent that reviewers report wild variation packet to packet, sometimes acceptable, sometimes inedible. This is what happens when price is the only consideration. Number 5. Any pie with less than 30% meat. This is not about one brand. This is about an industry standard designed to maximize profit at your expense. The Food Standards Code requires just 25% meat flesh. That means 3/4 of the pie is water, pastry, gravy, and fillers. The 25% can include animal rind, fat, connective tissue, nerve, blood, and blood vessels. All of that counts as meat flesh. In Choice's 2010 test, Mrs. Max and several other popular brands barely scraped over the 25% minimum. In Choice's 2006 test, multiple brands, including Big Ben Extra Tasty, Sergeant's Traditional, and Black and Gold, actually failed to meet even this low standard. Sergeant's, once the dominant pie brand in New South Wales for over 100 years, stopped production entirely in 2022. It was a victim of market pressures and the race to the bottom on quality. When an entire industry formulates to hit the legal minimum rather than exceed it, that tells you everything about priorities. Your enjoyment is secondary to their margins. Number 6. Any pie with excessive sodium. A single meat pie can contain over 1,000 milligrams of sodium. Food Standards Australia, New Zealand found that a meat pie with chips delivers 1,045 milligrams of sodium, equivalent to half a teaspoon of salt, which is half the maximum daily recommended intake in one meal. Food Standards Australia New Zealand identifies processed meat products, including meat pies, as among the highest sodium foods in the Australian diet. Why so much salt? Because when makers use minimum meat, cheap fillers, and textured soy protein, they need something to create flavour. Salt is the cheapest flavour enhancer available. It masks the lack of quality ingredients. Excessive sodium intake is linked to elevated blood pressure, increased risk of stroke, heart attack, and chronic kidney disease. The Heart Foundation recommends adults consume no more than 5 grams of salt per day, and many Australians are consuming nearly double that, with meat pies being a significant contributor. So what should you actually buy? First, Villiers Family Bakery. This South Australian company was founded by Hungarian immigrant Vili Milicic in 1968. They use 100% Australian beef, process their own meat on site, and hand-cut their vegetables. The founder worked in the bakery until his passing in 2021, maintaining hands-on quality control for over 50 years. Their pies have won multiple awards, and they employ over 360 staff. Their pies are available at Woolworths, Coles, IGA, and Foodland nationally, plus their 24-hour cafes in Adelaide. Second, local award-winning bakeries. The Great Aussie Pie competition has been running since 1989 and provides a genuine benchmark for quality. Recent winners include Paradise Bakehouse in Bundaberg, Queensland, The Pie Father in Rosebery, New South Wales, Met Barker Country Bakehouse in Western Australia, and Rolling Pin Pies and Cakes in Ocean Grove, Victoria. These bakeries win on meat content, flavour, and pastry quality, not on marketing budgets. Third, Mrs. Max has genuinely improved. They now use 100% Australian beef with no added hormones, have removed all added MSG, source free-range chicken and eggs, and have increased their meat content by up to 20%. The company remains Australian-owned and operates from Western Australia. While not perfect, their transparency about ingredients and genuine improvements deserve recognition. How to identify quality pies. Meat should be in the top 2 ingredients, not after water and flour. Quality pies list meat first or second. Actual meat percentage matters. The minimum is 25%. Premium pies contain 35 to 45% meat. If the packet does not state a percentage higher than the minimum, assume it is at the minimum. Avoid long additive lists. A quality pie needs meat, flour, butter or good fat, water, salt and seasonings. Multiple thickeners, emulsifiers, colors and flavor enhancers indicate industrial formulation. Textured soy protein or textured vegetable protein are meat extenders. Their presence means the manufacturer is bulking out the filling to reduce costs. Australian-owned matters. Companies like Villiers keep profits in Australia and maintain local employment. Foreign private equity ownership typically prioritises cost-cutting and margins. Weight indicates quality. A heavier pie for its size contains more filling and less air. Pick up competing brands and compare the weight. Here is the bottom line. The Australian meat pie industry has been exploiting the iconic status of this national food for decades. They hide behind minimum legal requirements while charging premium prices. They use water as the primary ingredient, bulk out fillings with soy protein, and add salt and flavour enhancers to mask the absence of real meat. Water before meat, soy protein to fake the texture. 25% meat content, which can include blood vessels and connective tissue. Multiple artificial colours are used to make grey filling look appetising. Enough salt to push you toward your daily limits in a single serving. This is not the meat pie your grandparents ate. This is industrial food engineering dressed up with nostalgic marketing. The most insulting part is the foreign ownership. 4 and 20, Herbert Adams, Paddy's and more are now owned by a Hong Kong private equity firm. The profits from Australia's national food flow overseas, while these companies trade on Aussie heritage. You deserve to know what you are paying for. If this video helped you understand what is really in your pie, hit the like button and share it with your mates. Subscribe to Crisis Report Aussie so you do not miss our next investigation. Ring the notification bell. We expose the products companies do not want you to question. Drop a comment and tell me, have you noticed your favorite pie has changed? I read every single comment. Your family deserves real meat pies, made with real ingredients and owned by Australians. Together, we are going to hold these companies accountable. Until next time.